Day everyone. So my topic for the macroeconomics of the shortcomings of fiscal policy is 10. So the first one is the disincentives of tax cuts. Increasing taxes to reduce aggregate demand may cause disincentives to work. If this occurs, there will be a fall in the productivity and the aggregate supply could fall. So this means that if the increases of tax may affect the workers as the result of the demand of the society. There could be a disincentives to work. It means that there will be a fall. There will be a fall in productivity because they will be thinking of that their salary might be deducted due to the high tax cuts. So the second part is side effects on public spending. Reduced government spending or G to decrease inflationary pressure. Could adversely affect public services such as public transports, education, causing market failure, and work efficiency. So by the term side effects on public spending, so we all know that the government is the main responsible of spending our taxes. So if they misled those taxes, they don't spend it wisely, they don't um, save the budget, it may cause a decrease in inflammatory pressure and also could affect public services. Next is poor information. Fiscal policy will suffer if the government has a poor information. Example, if the government believes there is going to be a recession, they will increase aggregate demand. However, if this forecast was wrong and the income grew too fast, the government action would cause inflation. So in this topic, so if the government has poor information, for example, if the government believed that there would be a um, shortage of demand of a certain product, but in reality there is an increase of it. So if this forecast was wrong and the economy grew too fast, prices may go up because the government would be catching up to the loss of their um, uh, next is time lags. If the government plans to increase spending, this can take a long time to filter into the economy, and it may be too late. Spending plans are only set once a year. There are also a delay in implementing any changes to spending patterns. So, for example, if the government are making a decision on a certain project of the economy that they might spending our taxes like building bridges, roads, and any government buildings. So this can take a long time to long time of planning because if they um, misled their plan, or they might don't plan it well. So this might cause a damage to our economy. So that's why it takes too long. Maybe it will take years and years in order for this project to come up. Number six is other components of aggregate demand. If the government uses fiscal policy, its effectiveness will also depend upon the other components of aggregate demand. For example, if the consumer confidence is very low, reducing taxes may not lead to an increase in spending. So, for example, if the consumer has a very low salary, and also it has to be budgeted, of course, we might considering to sustain our needs first instead of our wants. So that's why it can lead to a consumer's confidence is very low in spending. Even though the government reduce the given tax, this will not um, increase their spending powers because maybe they have a low salary on their work, or they only work on a part-time job. Next is it depends on the multiplier effect. Any change in the injection will be increased in the multiplier effect. Therefore, the size of the multiplier will be significant. If the consumer saves an extra income, the multiplier effect will be lower and fiscal policy less effective. So, for example, you have money and you will not, you're saving money through a piggy bank or in your alcancia. So, it is much better that when you will save money, you must deposit it in the bank because one of the multiplier effects in the economy, number one, is the bank money. In order for the government to rotate that money to, you know, in a circular motion, we must, they get money through the bank. If dili mo deposit sa bangko, so mulo ang ato ang economy. Crowding out. Expansionary fiscal policy will increase government spending. The increased AD may cause crowding out. Crowding out occurs when increased government spending results in a decrease of the size of the private sector. Next, monetarist critic. Monetarist critic argues that the LRAS is inelastic, therefore an increase in AD will only cause inflation to increase. Number 10. Real business cycle critic. The real business cycle argues that the macroeconomics fluctuations are due to changes in technological process and supply side shocks. Therefore, using demand side policy to influence economic growth fails to address the issue and just makes the situation worse.